Welcome back to the channel and our just get back again with another video. You can see why I'm happy today, because today is definitely one of the best wins all season and probably the best win in a long time. Man, Manchester City 2, Real Madrid 1, probably one of the best wins ever, because this Real Madrid was definitely been a dagger pain in the ass to City over the years in the Champions League. We played them every year. We lost to them last time. Last time the City team was weakened. They were very crappy. They had no midfield. They didn't have the players they have now. They were not playing. They were definitely very weakened at the time. We had no defenders because of Kanji and John Stones that went down the last time. But look at us now. Miles better. But definitely after when all the dirty stuff they were trying to do against and that Mbappe being nasty, laughing at when Guardiola went down and all that, and doing it in front of Pep and all that. This is their karma now. Definitely, probably one of the best games I've seen for City in a while. Really good defense after that first goal conceded by Rodrygo. It was honestly a good chance by Rodrygo, but after that, City got right back in the game, and they didn't let that get them down. And they did world class defense. Then Haaland tried to just try to kick it in, but he couldn't. And then O'Reilly, man, O'Reilly. From what he's come from as an academy player, he was nothing. He was only playing cup games. Last season, we started to see him with all the injuries, which I didn't think we were going to see him this season that much because, that Ryan out injury. But after he got injured, we saw what Nico O'Reilly could do. Wow. Wow. World class left back. It's good that, they need to get rid of him because, the other teams would have been. Because, we lost some of the other good academy players, but no. No. O'Reilly, yeah, perfection. Nice goal right there, and Guardiola hugs him in the back, as because that's what happened last time there. But definitely nice goal back, and then we got that penalties. Antonio Rudiger grabbed Erling Haaland like this, try to grab him, take him down, and all that. And he said that's what Xabi Alonso wanted him to do, but I think he took it to another level, like using what he usually does, and then he got awarded the penalty, which it was a penalty all day long. Haaland smashed it in, nothing. And it was first goal at the Santiago Bernabeu, and this is the first time we ever won at the Bernabeu since 2020. Because even when we beat them, in 2023, we didn't win at the Bernabeu. It was a draw at the Bernabeu. But no, we finally beat them, especially at the Bernabeu, because after they came and beat us earlier this year in February at the Etihad and they met us up penalties at the Etihad, it was about time for us to win there. But definitely the first half of Real Madrid was trying to get over calls. They tried to get a penalty, but they only get a free kick. They were kind of getting assimilated. They were really pressing and City just trying to expose their weaknesses so that way they could fast break and score. I saw they were really trying that, and afterwards they kind of let it go. But in the beginning they were really trying not to let them in. They really were trying. But they really were trying to get Vinicius Jr. was throwing himself to the ground. Uh, Rodrigo was throwing himself down, and I forgot who else was throwing themselves down, but definitely that other guy, what's his name? I forgot what that guy's the player's name was, but he was trying to be dirty, and then they threw Matheus Nunes up in the air, which that was dangerous. Then they kicked the ball in Haaland's private area, which that was very nasty of them to do as well. And then they were trying to get all feisty and nasty and trying to start a fight with Jeremy Doku, but you saw he was trying to say some things back. It's like they don't want to be bothered by this, man. They really don't. But definitely, yeah. Definitely City really put their game on. After that penalty, we held them down. Shirky almost scored afterwards. He couldn't. Haaland tried to score. He couldn't. And then, that was the end of the first half. The first half was definitely, it started off a little bit, kind of crappy in the beginning. There was, Real Madrid was pressing really hard. They were trying to show City's weaknesses. They were trying to fast break, and Rodrygo scored, and then, once O'Reilly scored, and then Haaland got that penalty, game done. Second half, I was already thinking, it'd probably be a draw because, Real Madrid, and then they usually get all the calls because they usually get all the calls since, their favorite is they treat like their competition because it's based, because that was the Champions League, but still, they shouldn't act like that, but that's where they are. No Mbappe this time, because he was injured, which, to be honest, it was probably for the best. Maybe it was his bad actions coming up to catch him after what he did earlier this year. So maybe that's what that was. But definitely the second half, City dominated on defense. Dominated. Dominated all the way. We had a few chances later in the game, Sabino, but Sabino should have passed it to Marmoush maybe or somebody else, and they would have scored again. But he didn't, so that's usually Semino makes mistakes like that. That's why he's on the bench most of the time now, which is great because he shouldn't. It was a shame that we had to get stuck seeing him playing so many games last season. But definitely one of the best games. Very really good midfield dominance. Nico Gonzalez, great defense. Bagardio, O'Reilly, Mateus Nunes, Ruben Diaz, phenomenal, phenomenal. I'm more than proud of this team for being Real Madrid today. I did not think I was going to come out and make this video. I thought this was going to be a loss most likely. But nope, we beat them. We know they're not that good because, weakened Liverpool side beat Real Madrid. Liverpool had no team. Because with the way we went through them, Liverpool had no team. Liverpool should have given more City more of a challenge. Even Real Madrid gave us more of a challenge than Liverpool that day. I know they had injuries. That's what the City was last season. The City could not do nothing. City had no team when we played them in February. Earlier this year in February, we played them. We had no team. There was no midfield. Roger was out. Gonzalez was not really playing too much because Pep really was not using him in the beginning. He started using him more this season, in which we see why he deserves to be the starter and backup to Rodri. Well, he's basically the starter now. As Rodri stayed injured, he's picked up like 4 injuries since then. So it's good we finally beat them after all the nasty contests of Taraji's belong to Orwin, which he did deserve it last year. He really did. Even though he got injured now, he did deserve for the performance he did before the injury. Just want to make that clear. But definitely dominated. O'Reilly was running at them. He kicked one of the balls out and took them down. Bernardo Silva even got suspended for the next game, next Champions League game even. Which at least it wasn't a really he is one of the main players that really needs to be playing, but guess the next team we really don't need to have him playing again, so maybe he could play somebody else in his position, but definitely well deserved. It's good that he was coming back and they were doing the same thing back. It's usually they try to bully teams, they try to hurt people, they try to injure them because they injured Akanji and John Stones in the same game that day, and we lost them almost for the whole season. And they came back and they were off their game. Well, Kanji was off his game the whole time. That's why City probably chose to sell him, but John Stones was not. But they threw him off his game after that. As you see, he picked up an injury now, and it's not good. He probably won't be in the team next season, unfortunately. Because they're not patient towards that. It's a shame, but definitely this team dominated. They had we should have scored another one, but I guess that's how it is what it is because Courtois is a good goalkeeper, but definitely dominated. A nice save from Donnarumma against Eindrick, and Eindrick was mad and screaming on the floor. I don't blame him though. As a Belgian, I probably would have felt the same way. You want to score. You're young. You want to prove them. You want to prove yourself. But definitely dominated. City deserved to win this game today. Loved it. Finally got a win there. It was finally time. Because it's been too many times we got our ass kicked to come in there. Early this year, I say it was not too fair. We had all those injuries, and then we had injuries during that game, and then they had no midfield. They had no players. They really didn't. There was no midfield. There was nothing. So it's better this time that we went in there. They had a team. This team, it's like, it's new. Sometimes they're inconsistent. They can't come through now. They come through. And today, this proves me this team is miles better than last season. Well, last season was a lot injured, but they weren't just what they were. But no, they're miles better. This shows that City is coming back in a new way, and a lot of these players are really young. They're under 24 years old. I read a comment on Instagram that was saying that, which is true. Nico O'Reilly, Nico Gonzalez, um, Matheus Nunes, uh, O'Reilly, Cherky, all of them are pretty young. And the ones on the bench too, we didn't get to see them come on. They came on later on, but no, Savino's young too. All of them are really in their early 20s. This one, but mostly a lot of them that were playing today were their early 20s. That was nice to see them win. Um, it's definitely Pep is showing himself as one of the best managers in the world. There's a lot of other managers out there probably would not have this many new players play this well together in their first year and beating big teams like Real Madrid, Liverpool. Well, Liverpool was, a little bit weak, but still we beat them anyways. They could still did something, even like that. But definitely dominated. Probably one of my favorite Champions League games ever. If we hadn't beat them since that time in May 2023 when we went to the Champions League final, but still, that was not the Bernabeu. No, we went to the Bernabeu this time. Because that time in 2022, I did watch the game. I wasn't doing match reactions yet. They they tore us apart at the end. We was most definitely should have won. We would definitely anybody that would have been watching that game. Oh, we won because City was not playing that well that day, if I remember right. And Mari scored, and it wasn't looking that good. City was just eh. But then Real Madrid came out with Rodrygo and Benzema, and it was forget it. One after the other, they killed us. But no, this is definitely the revenge they need to get, especially after all the nasty comments they talked about City the last few times. So it's definitely time for City to, get their win against them. More proud of the team. Nico O'Reilly definitely deserved that player of the match. He dominated. He's a great left back. We probably never would even saw him if that injury wouldn't happen with out early. So maybe it was meant to be. I don't, I don't promote injuries enough. There's nothing against that player. I would have loved to see him play too, but no, but this guy is definitely phenomenal. I see why they called him up to the England senior team because definitely he's a great left back. This is his second goal this season, his first goal in the Champions League and his first player of the match in the Champions League. So definitely he's definitely going somewhere. From nothing to nine from nobody to somebody. It's amazing. He's been playing for City since he was 8 years old, and he's really proved himself. Definitely proud to see him playing. Hopefully, we keep seeing him more. Hopefully, he stays healthy and fit so we keep seeing him longer. But this team definitely they're proving themselves. I hope they keep it up all season. Hopefully, we get a trophy at the end of the season or something. We may not win the league or something, but maybe a Carabao Cup or something. Because I don't want to think that much because they really have to prove themselves in that second part of the season. But definitely, we're starting to come together here. These players are starting to gel. They're starting to prove themselves. There are a lot of new players on the team. They want to win. They're hungry. They're young. They're powerful on the pitch. They want to win. Anyway, that's my opinion. Thanks for watching. Definitely hat for this team. There's a fan. Give a like and definitely celebrate this one. We should be, if you're saying that much, we should be proud to wear those badges after being a big club like that. Definitely. Thanks for watching. See you all next time. Yeah. See you next time.